Hey beautiful souls, welcome to today's Soul Chat. So today I want to talk about the concept of energy is contagious and really driving on what is energetics and what does it mean when we say we are discussing energetics, right? So on the basics is that we are all energy beings. We have 7 layers to our energetic being, our body, right? Our body is one of them. So the physical state is one of them. We have so many other layers that are connected within us. And every single person has this. Every single soul carries this with them. Each layer is pretty much just energy. And everything around us is pretty much energy too. So the concept of energetics is nothing but the study of energy. And really, it's about knowing and understanding that our thoughts and our emotions create our reality. And that is nothing but energy. It's just energy being transferred. Going even deeper on that concept is the concept of transmuting energy. So energy can be transferred and it can be transmuted. So if I'm carrying a certain type of energy, I can transmute that. And what does transmute mean? Transmute means change it. I can change it to another energy. I can transform it into another energy. And not only can I transform it to another energy, right? Transmutation is really about changing a low vibe frequency, low vibe energy to a high vibe frequency, a high vibe energy. I can also transfer that energy too. So my energy can be directly transferred to somebody else. And this is what we could say energy is contagious. So if I'm in a certain type of energy and I don't have awareness, or I just stay in that energy. So let's just say I'm very angry and I'm very frustrated and I walk into a room, that energy is being transferred to everybody else. So maybe your state of being in that moment was calm, or you felt very safe, you felt very settled in who you are, very grounded, and all of a sudden I walk in with this charged, frustrated, angry energy, and I just sit down next to you, and maybe I even do some physical things, like I grunt, or I just drop all of my stuff and say something like, this sucks, or life is horrible, can't believe this just happened, whatever it may be. Yes, we hear the words and yes, we see the action, but what we're feeling first, because we're energetic beings, is the energy of that person. We're feeling that energy. And so automatically our energy shifts. It either shifts to say, I need to protect myself from this energy because I don't want to carry this, or it shifts to feeling angry and feeling frustrated about something that's related to you, something that's related in your own world, in your own reality. And when we think about this concept, energy is contagious, it's very powerful for parents, specifically mothers, for 2 reasons. So 1, the energy that we carry when we are in the phase of conception and pregnancy, 2 things are happening. So the energy that we carry in the stage of conception, right, in the stage of fertility, we're actually either repelling or calling in the soul of our baby, right? So if we're constantly in this energy of feeling guilt or feeling shame or feeling hopelessness, feeling sad, feeling depressed, feeling angry even, we're not calling in the soul of our baby, because we are actually contracting, we're closing up. And this goes for other things too in life, right? If you're calling something in, if you're calling a new job, if you're calling a new house, whatever blessing you're calling in, if you're in the energy of feeling any of those lower vibration frequencies, you're actually contracting yourself. And so the universe is only going to send you what it is that you're giving out, right? The frequency that you're emitting, it's like a radio signal. The frequency that you're emitting to the universe is going to give it. So even though you're saying it to the universe, I want a new house, I want a baby, I want a family, I want to start my life as a mother, you may be saying those things, but you're not embodying that, right? You're not feeling that inside of you, in the sense of your energy is different. It's completely off. So the universe is only going to give you, this is the law of attraction, by the way, exactly what you're emitting. That's the energy part of it. The second part, so that's infertility. The second part, when you're pregnant and you have your baby inside of you, it's growing inside of you, whatever energy that you're consistently in is actually being transferred to your baby. Your baby can't transmute that energy yet. Once it comes out and it becomes, once it's out into the world and it's in the earth and whatever, all of those things, it learns how to transmute if they're aware and if they have the proper guidance. But moving back to when you're pregnant, it's so important to know the energy that you're in, because you're actually transferring this energy to your baby. So I give you a perfect example. When I was pregnant, I was very conscious and very, very, very careful about the energy that I was in, because I wanted to make sure I was passing on to this baby only love. Like, I didn't want this baby to grow up in the programming of fear. And so that's not to say that I didn't have fear, okay? I did have fear, but consistently I did things where I was passing love and abundance to this baby, my son. And I constantly hear from strangers, from people in the family, from people that know us, our friends, he's so calm, he's such a good boy. And I know, yes, maybe it can be 10% of my parenting, but 90% of the way he is because, one, I was constantly and consistently giving him that energy when pregnant, and even now as a mother. So this goes to why it's important to understand your energy, and energy is contagious as a parent. As a mother, I ensure that I try to be as happy and in myself, fill myself up before I'm around him. So there are times that I get frustrated around him. There are times that I'm like, what the hell? He's just not listening, or I get frustrated, right? I've learned to, and then he gets frustrated. So I've learned to take a few deep breaths with him. So now what I do is I say, hey, Shiv, let's come over here. Let's sit down on my lap. Let's take a few breaths together. We just need to calm down for a second. I regulate myself, and he's learning to regulate himself, because he's going to have experiences in his life where he's going to freak out. He's going to be angry. But it's important that we learn how to regulate ourselves, and we come back into that state of calmness where we can then emit the frequencies of gratitude, of love, of joy. We can't be in the frequency of love, gratitude, and joy consistently if we're not regulated. So this is the other aspect of energetics, right? We are energetic beings, and everything is energy, but our body will respond to situations in how safe it feels. So spiritually, your soul feels safe majority of the time, right? Because it's so disconnected from this reality. It's so disconnected from this world. Things are happening on a spiritual plane first, then they happen on a mental, emotional plane, and then they happen on the physical plane. So if you're feeling something in your body, which is, I'm not feeling safe, I'm you're having anxiety, all of those things are happening first on the spiritual plane, right? And when I say the spiritual plane, so this is energetics. This is what energetics is about. It's about, once again, I'm going to talk about faith. It's about your connection with God, your connection with spirit, your connection with the universe. How strong, how deep is that connection, that on a spiritual level, you know that everything that's happening for you right now is already, it's everything's being placed exactly the way it needs to, and it's meant to be. Even if it's something that is challenging, even if it's something that is uncomfortable, you know that that's happening for your own growth. You have that certainty because you have that relationship with God. That's on the spiritual level, right? That's the spiritual level. Mental, emotional level, then we have to, energetically, we have to understand that whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm feeling is an energy. So if I'm thinking and feeling something that is not in resonance with what I am asking for from the universe, and the universe is nothing but your spiritual plane, right? We're all in that place. We're all a creator. We're all a creator. We're all a creator. I'm going to say that again, because yes, we are all fragments of soul, but we're all an expression of God. Like every single one of us, our soul is nothing but an expression of God. And I'll do a whole other video on that. I'll get into that. So lastly, it happens on the physical plane. So from an emotional, mental level, when we understand that whatever is happening is happening from my thoughts and from my emotions. So the energy that I am emitting first starts as from a spiritual plane, which is usually a high vibe frequency. But then when it gets into the mind, the fear might come in, the doubt might come in, something might come in, and we're like tainting it, right? And so we have to push through that. We have to understand that, and then we have to choose. So we all have free will. And I did a video about free will. You can go back and watch that. And what free will tells us is at all times, we have a choice. We have a choice of what energy we want to be in, what we want to do in life. Though there is a path that is created for us, we have a choice of which way we want to go. We'll be put back onto the path. Maybe it'll take us years to be put back on the path based off of our choice, but we all have a choice on which way to go. It's not like there's this etched out plan and we're walking on that plan and somebody's controlling us. We're all creators. I'm going to say it again. We are all creators. We're creating our destiny. We're creating our reality. We're creating where we are. And our desired state is nothing but our current state, if you think about it. We're not in that desired state right now because time is not a thing. I probably have to do another video on time too, but time is not a thing. So everything's happening in the present moment, right? Another very important concept to understand when you're thinking about energetics. So everything's happening right now in this moment. And since everything's happening right now in this moment, there's no future, there's no past. It only exists within our mind. Our mind is creating those dimensions. It's very important for you to be aware of what energy you're in, because that's either creating a reality that you choose to not be part of and you don't understand, so you're becoming a victim, or you become the creator that you are, you empower yourself, and you create a reality that you want to live in, right? All the basics of energetics. This is all the basics of energetics that I'm talking about right now. And so the last thing I'll mention is it happens then on a physical plane. So your spiritual plane has already decided, because it knows, your soul already knows the lessons that you're here to learn. It knows where you want to go, knows your purpose, all that stuff. On a physical level, so within our body, we don't know that, right? So we feel so disconnected. We're trying to find clarity. We're trying to figure out where we're going. What is my purpose? Why am I here? I didn't just, we have all of these thoughts that are being created in our head based off of the consciousness we're tapped into. And on a physical level, we start to feel things. And this is where it's very important to practice things where you can regulate your nervous system. When you can regulate your nervous system, you tap into abundance, because you're moving away from fear. We're all programmed to be in this fear-based mindset, this fear-based mentality. And moving away from that fear-based mindset, that fear-based mentality, means we need to feel safe in it, right? If you're going to go off of a faith-based mentality or a love-based programming, your body's not safe in that, because it's been in this programming of fear for so long that that's where it feels comfortable, right? And though you're there, you haven't made that connection yet within your body, because your body needs to feel it, and it feels it through your nervous system. So then energetics through the nervous system through the body is really regulating your nervous system, and that's how you open up to the abundance. And why I'm talking about this, in terms of energy is contagious, is exactly what I was saying. When we talk about conscious parenthood, when we talk about what is conscious parenthood, it's really having that awareness. It's having the awareness that my energy is so contagious, it can impact my child. And If I am in a certain way, if my energy is flowing in a certain way, that's also going to impact my child. And if that impacts my child is learning that, and then he's taking that to his friends or to his school or wherever he hangs out, or she hangs out. And they are then, as a collective, raising the consciousness. So the only thing that you're doing, you're not like teaching your child anything. You are just embodying it yourself, right? So I'm not telling Shiv, like, Shiv, you need to regulate your nervous system. Shiv, don't, like when he throws a tantrum, like, don't throw a tantrum, don't be angry. I'm regulating myself, and he picks up my energy to then learn that he can calm down in this moment. He doesn't need to have a tantrum. And here's the other part of it. As kids, specifically toddlers, and kids that are like 5, 6, they're like really impressionable. They're learning from their environment. So if they see in their environment, they're constantly around people that are high stressed, very anxious, going through like the roller coaster of emotions, they're picking up on that themselves, and understanding the world is like that, right? If they're around people that are able to consistently be calm, able to regulate their nervous system when things get challenging, pushing themselves out there, pushing themselves against their fear to really accomplish their goals and grow spiritually, mentally, physically, however else, like, they're going to pick up on that, and they're going to pick up those habits, right? Children are very impressionable. They're very impressionable. So as parents, and conscious parenthood is based off of this, it's important that we practice it. We're not teaching them anything. Like, we're not like sitting them down and having conversation. They're learning by observing, and majority of their learning happens through observations. If you're a parent and you have a toddler, you can remember when your child was a toddler, they imitate you. My son is starting to imitate me. So sometimes when I do these videos and he's watching me, or I'm on a live, or I'm doing one of my virtual sessions, he'll watch and he imitates me then. Or, if I'm meditating, he'll sit next to me and he'll I don't know if he's meditating, but he looks like he's meditating because he'll do the same exact thing that I'm doing. And so they're picking up on what we're doing. And this goes for everybody else. If you're in a workplace, or you're in a home, if you're around family, like, your energy is very contagious. Yes, other people's energy may be impacting you, but you can transmute that, as I mentioned, right? We can transmute energy. So what that means is, if somebody's around you and they're angry, if you're holding the energy of love, that energy can transmute that anger, where that person can move through the anger to a more calmer state, more stable state of like just being like, okay, yes, I understand I'm angry, but I can just let this go and I can just move on with my day. This happens a lot to me, by the way. And once again, I'm not doing anything. I'm just holding my energy as where I want it to be, and the people around me are picking up on that. And that's how we actually communicate first, right? Like, words, we're communicating through words, yes, through talk, through language, yes, but the very first communication that happens between us is through energy, because we're all energetic beings. And so when you walk into a room, that's why you can feel certain energies, especially if they're strong energies. You can feel someone's energy and just changing the entire energy of the room. When somebody enters in and they're just like a beam of sunshine, their energy is so bright and so like radiant, it changes the entire room. Even if the room was like dull and like whatever, that whole room changes and they pick up on that. Energy is contagious. It's very contagious. So it's very important for you to remember, and this is this week's tip or homework if you want to do it. What is the energy that you want to be in? So I want you to ask yourself on a daily basis when you wake up, and you can do like a midpoint check-in or whatever. What is the energy that I want to be in today and that I want to embody? What is it that I want to attain from today, right? Think about that. And then what is the energy that I need to be in to attain that? And then check in with yourself. Check in if that energy is still there. And if it's not, you can do an audit, like what's going on, what's happening in my day that my energy is being thrown off. That's just the homework. And I kind of do this on a daily basis. I kind of like wake up, I do a whole gratitude exercise with my son, I do meditation, but like when I'm meditating, I really think about like, what is the energy I want to carry in today? I'm very conscious and aware of that. And the days that I'm feeling like low, or I'm feeling sad, or maybe I'm feeling more lack, I know that I want to be in the energy of love, but I feel a little bit further away from it. So then I need to ground into my faith. I need to ground into my connection with God, because on a spiritual basis, I may have faith, but it's not grounded. I'm not there yet. So that day, I will specifically just spend extra time in just connecting with God. And that kind of brings me through that energy, brings me through the emotions. It reminds me that everything's happening in the now. Nothing in the future exists, nothing in the past exists either. We're all operating in the now. It's just we can't see it because our mind and our body is limited. We're not looking at it from the perspective of our soul. So we are thinking that we have ample amount of time to get things done. We are operating in that sense. I will end it there. I have so many more things that I want to say, but I think this video seems complete with this information. I think I'll just leave you with one final tip, is that even if you're having a challenging day, a hard day, a day where you just feel really low, like I was just mentioning, that is normal. I just want to normalize it, right? Like, it's not, the goal here is not for us to attain some sort of like euphoric state like all the time. That's not normal. We're going to go through the ups and downs, right? Without light, there's no dark. Without dark, there's no light. We need to see both from a spiritual perspective. Our soul wants to feel both from a spiritual perspective, to learn the lessons, to grow, to get to that next state of breaking the cycles. So we need to experience both. It's not about trying to bypass it or anything like that. What I want to mention to you is normalize that, and then understand, what do I need to do to regulate my nervous system so I feel safe in the moments that are challenging? And then 2, what do I need right now, right? Ask for it in prayer, ask for it in meditation, however you ask for things from your guides, from God, ask for it, and then it will be given to you. And then the last thing I want to mention is rest. So it's not about consistently grinding to be at a certain state, right? We are in like a world, a society where everything is so fast-paced, and like everybody's operating at like a high like vibe, like in terms of like everybody's a high performer. I am too. I have the high performer syndrome, where you want to overachieve and you just want to do like more than the other person, because for some reason that makes you feel like you're going to get further. This isn't about that. This is a journey. This is a lifelong journey. We're going to go through ebbs and flows of this. What's important is that you understand how to get into that balanced, calm state, even when things are hard, right? And the very first step to that is awareness. And the second step to that is, now that I'm aware that I'm in a frequency that I don't want to be in, what do I need to give myself today? And then follow that. A lot of times it's rest, because we are operating so fast and going against the natural rhythms of our body that we burn ourselves out, and we don't even know that we're burning ourselves out. So it's very important to rest. It's very important to take the rest that's needed for you, right? Everybody rests in a different way. Rest looks different for everybody. So understand what type of rest you need. Maybe you need to disconnect from society as a whole for a few days. Maybe you need to just sleep a little bit more. Maybe you need to take a few more naps. Maybe you need like a whole like vacation to like experience a new thing. Whatever it is, rest looks different for everybody. So it's not like a cookie cutter thing. You need to ask yourself, what type of rest do you need in order for you to be at that optimal state again, right? And when I say optimal state, throughout the day, I kind of said this in a little bit before, but throughout the day, your optimal state can go up and down. That's why it's important to check in with yourself. Because you could start the morning being like all in gratitude and stuff, and then something happens, and then midday you're completely thrown off, and you're like, this is like the worst day ever, even though you woke up with that high energy. So like when you're going through those ebbs and flows, check in with yourself throughout the day. Just check in with yourself. Bring that awareness of like, okay, what energy am I in now? Is this the energy that I want to be in? Is this the energy that is going to resonate with what I'm calling in? And what I'm trying to communicate with everybody else around me? Or do I need to shift? Do I need to just take a little bit of time to myself to get back to that state that I want to be in? My state of being is not where I need to be at, right? So you do that. You take whatever it is that you need to get back to that state. And this is energetics. This is the practice of energetics, and it's a lifelong journey, like I explained. But when you can understand that everything is energy and you can operate in this way, you break through so many different layers. Like when we say we're breaking into a portal, or portal is opening, the energy is just amazing if you do the right thing. That is nothing but you understanding that you are the portal. You are the portal. You are the creator. And so when you can shift your energy to whatever it is that you want, you're creating a portal for yourself to open up to that blessing coming into your life. So start off with building the practice of being aware, and then work on checking in with yourself. What is the energy that I'm in? These are the questions. What is the energy that I'm in? What is the energy that I want to be in? To be in resonance with what I'm calling in. And what is it that I need if you're not at that energy yet? And those are the 3 questions. Just continuously ask yourself a few times every day. And eventually you'll learn that you're able to bring so much awareness that even before your nervous system freaks out, you're able to regulate it. It's a practice. It's a muscle. Just like we train in the gym, you're training your nervous system. It's going to be practice. But this is the art of energetics, and this is why I love it so much, and this is why I teach it, and this is why I teach mindfulness. It's all about practicing these things and using these tools to get to that state that we want to be in. And I'll talk a little bit about peace too in another episode, but that's all I have for you today. I can go on and on about this, but I'm going to end it here. I love you all so very much. Please check out my latest podcast that just dropped last week. It's about subconscious reprogramming and for birth. And it kind of goes through a little bit of what I just talked about in this episode about energetics. And so it might kind of break it down for you a little bit more, like how hypnosis helps with getting into that optimal state. And I am also going to be dropping the calendar for August. So the events that I have for August, I'm excited to invite you into my virtual Moon Circle group. I'm going to have a few other events that I'm going to be hosting as well, master classes and stuff that will be free, which I'm happy to invite you in as well. And then, if you have any other questions about my services and things like that, let me know. I love you all so very much. Peace, love, and light. Namaste.